Welcome to ThinkTech on OC16, Hawaii's weekly newscast on things that matter to tech and to Hawaii. I'm Jay Fidell.
And I'm Duke Oishi.
In our show tonight, we'll take a drill-down walk through a totally green energy model house on 22nd Avenue in Kaimuki.
You're going to love all the things designed into this house to achieve maximum comfort, as well as huge energy savings for its occupants.
The project was organized by Karen Nakamura, Executive Director of the Building Industry Association of Hawaii. We started our tour by checking in with her.
We are so proud of this new Hawaiian home, and we're glad that you're back to see the final product.
Well, tell our viewers what we have here. What is going on here on 22nd Avenue in Kaimuki?
This is a model demonstration prototype of the greenest home that has been built in Hawaii. It will be certified by both LEED and by the National Green Building Standard. So we are really proud here. And what we were trying to do was to put together a home that we could record being built from the ground up to train our industry. We have over 11,000 licensed contractors, and less than 100 are certified green builders. So we are really excited about this project.
This is part of your attempts to build the workforce, the skilled workforce in clean energy projects. Yeah.
Yes. BIA, Building Industry Association, is a trade organization of contractors, suppliers, consultants, and what we do is to teach our industry all of the new technologies that are coming out of our industry, and it's changing daily. So we are so proud of this home that we have an opportunity to train not only our industry, but the public. It's a very comfortable home. It's got ambient lighting, it's got cross ventilation, and it's we manage the resources very efficiently.
There's a lot of contractors who worked on this project, and they volunteered their time?
They volunteered not only their time and the materials. All of the materials and labor were donated on this project. And we had, just to give you an example, over 97 contractors and suppliers. I had 5 framers on this job. And so they all were taught the practices of green building and now understand it.
Yeah, great. So you have a tremendous leap forward for a lot of people, not just one or two. Thank you for putting it together. Good for BIA. This is really terrific.
Thank you, Jake.
Okay, Karen. Now, would you mind introducing us to Rhona? She's right here. She's going to be our guide. So why don't you tell us about Rhona? Come on, Rhona.
I'd like you to meet Rhona Goyke of Green Sand Inc. She is our sustainability strategist and consultant.
Okay, thanks. And Rhona, we're now going to put the microphone on you, and you can take us around, all right?
All right.
Okay.
Then we met up with Rhona Goyke, a residential energy and design consultant at Green Sand Inc., who gave us an unforgettable tour through the house.
So Rhona, what do we got here? What is going on?
Well, there's so much going on here at the house. It starts from the very, very beginning here, including the slope of the driveway and the cuts of the driveway. It looks beautiful and decorative, but there's really a strategy and the purpose for it. And so things I'm going to go over is the attention to detail. Every single detail did matter and was part of an overall plan, including these cuts. So what these cuts do is channel the rainwater. We have limited rainwater that falls on the site. We want to use every single drop of it. We don't want to waste it. So it gets channeled by the cuts in the concrete over into the plantings where it gets used to water the plants. Rainwater hog, it's about a 50-gallon storage tank of rainwater, and you can see how the gutter and the downspout come right into the rainwater hog here, and there's a spigot at the bottom where you put a hose to, and you can put a hose there, and you can do, wash the driveway, water the plants. So we have big overhangs, and you see on the second floor we have a shade as well. So we're trying to keep direct sun out of the house, control that very intense direct sun. And when we go inside, you'll be able to tell the visitors and viewers how cool the house is.
Before we go, can we look at the water heater? This looks like a real beaut.
Well, it is, and in Hawaii, where again, what's our really most prevalent natural resource? It's the sun. This is the inside part of the solar water heater. So we have the solar water panel on the roof where the water is heated, and then it comes in here as a storage tank, so it's here when you need it. And then if you have a cloudy day or it gets too cold or the family is really running through hot water, it is plugged in as well, so we have electricity to top it off or heat it up if it's needed.
So now let's move on to our next stop. We're at the Mauka side of the house, And here we are looking at a real live aquaponics setup. That's fabulous.
It's so exciting. It's a self-contained unit. In the bottom, there are live fish. There's tilapia in the bottom, and they produce the fertilizer that then gets cycled back up through the plants. And so you grow some of your greens there. There's strawberries growing, there's lettuce growing, there's some herbs growing there, all fertilized by the fish. And then the nutrients from the plants go down and feed the fish, and on it goes. You know what? It's a system that you can buy from Waimanalo Feed. So you buy it, and then you plant the plants you like, and it has to be stocked with the tilapia.
Like having a little brook in your backyard.
It is. It's like a useful water feature.
Yeah. Here we are in the washer-dryer room, I guess.
This room, it's nicely finished. It looks like a room of the house, but actually this is technically an exterior space. The washer is an Energy Star washer. And so it is low water and also energy efficient. Now let's go to the kitchen since it's right next door. It's a kitchen to die for, I think. A lot of usable counter space, well designed. But getting into the green features is, first of all, is this beautiful white countertop here. One of the focuses on countertops is trying to keep the toxins out of the countertops. A lot of the materials, even some of the green materials, are bound together with toxic materials. So one of the focuses on indoor air quality. And with indoor air quality, it's keep the toxins out of the house. The cabinets as well, it's two parts to the cabinet. There's FSC certified wood. What that means, FSC, is that it comes from a sustainably managed forest. So they're not clear cutting, they're not cutting down, rainforest in Brazil. It's managed wood. And then what they finish it with are also non-toxic materials as well. And they're pre-finished in the factory where all of that is controlled. So it's not finished here, so we don't get the chemicals in the house absorbing into the drywall that will off-gas out again.
You go into a new house and you smell the finishes and you smell the oil on the surfaces and all that. I don't smell anything here.
That was our goal. That has to do with indoor air quality and what's called typically VOCs, volatile organic compounds. Those are those nasty chemicals that we're talking about, those hazardous chemicals, many of which are suspected or known human carcinogens. And a lot of people like that new house smell, but if you know what it is, you'd like to avoid it.
Yeah. Rhona, can you tell us about the floors? These are beautiful floors, but is there something special about them too?
The floors are very special. It is bamboo flooring. And we actually had a little bit of a hard time finding bamboo flooring that passed my test for an environmental standard, because bamboo is a rapidly renewable resource. So we want to use as many rapidly renewable resources as we can. That means they grow fast, you can harvest them, they can grow up again really quickly. But a lot of them have added urea formaldehyde. Added urea formaldehyde is one of those VOCs that we want to keep out of our house, and a lot of the bamboo flooring has added urea formaldehyde in it. You have to really ask for the material safety data sheet and find out what's it put together with. All the first floor is a hard surface, not carpeting, because even with the shoes off policy in Hawaii that we do, right, it still gets some dirt tracked in, and so it's much easier to keep clean if it's a solid surface than carpet. The door, which is off site here, just off cameras a little bit, how that door is sealed to separate the garage from the living spaces is very important. We want a good seal, so anything, if there's a weed whacker in there or the car's off gassing when they come home, that exhaust, we want to make sure that door has an automatic door closer. It's sealed and gasketed real well to keep that out. And the guards is also vented as well. It has natural ventilation in it, so those exhausts from the car can get out of the garage. The appliances are all Energy Star if Energy Star is available. So this is a GE Energy Star refrigerator. Light fixtures are another good one. They're Energy Star light fixtures. Energy Star ceiling fans. So we used as many third-party verified materials and instruments and appliances that we could, because as much research as you do, it's hard to keep on track of who's doing the best things.
Yeah, let's take a minute and talk about planning a house like this. There's a certain amount of research. You don't find a house like this on every street corner. So you had to do some research. Where did you go?
Well, it's what I do full time. So it is a full-time job to keep up with this stuff. So if somebody that's really serious about it, it pays to hire a consultant and an architect and engineering firm.
What's it going to cost you, a house like this?
Well, I really counsel people to think long-term and think from the very beginning. There are some additional upfront costs. But if in Hawaii, a lot of families stay for generations, right? 3-4 generations, it's not unusual. So you need to think, instead of our, first cost mentality that we have, let's buy things on sale, where's my coupon? We need to think long term, and what cost you put on your health as well. A lot of these things, contribute to healthy indoor air quality, your puppies, your kids, your grandkids. And so even let's take example for the PV system. In this house we have a 4.95 system, a big system, because we are net zero, which we'll talk about later, but we're producing enough energy to run the house if they don't turn on the air conditioners. That's a big investment. There's a lot of tax incentives to help offset that, but it's a big investment. But if you figure, hey, what was my electric bill before, and you divide that cost out, boy, its payback is usually 2 or 3 years. And then after that, that's money in your pocket. That's $300, $400, $500 or more dollars a month that you're actually in your pocket from then on out.
Yeah.
So very smart.
Well, so the whole analysis about building a house or buying a house like this, it's a different analysis than it used to be, because you have to determine the payback as well.
Here we are in the middle of the day, in the heat of the day with the sun starting to set, and the house is really quite comfortable. The goal was to not need air conditioning. We put air conditioning on the bedrooms as a compromise, but it's quite comfortable in here. This is about as hot as it gets in this house. And you can see from the curtains and everything, there's a nice trade wind blowing in here. But we also have what's called a whole house fan. So when you get home and the house has been closed up for 8 to 12 hours, however long you've gone, you switch on the whole house fan, and that's with mechanical assist, we call it. So what you do is you have the windows and doors open, turn on the whole house fan, and it
Takes all the hot air out.
Exactly. All the windows have what's called the nano ceramic film on it, and you can see how it's dark, right? And you can see the difference. So the ceramic film blocks 99.9% of the UV rays, which means, those are the damaging rays that kind of age your floor and your furniture, keeps that out.
On your face.
And your face, yes. And about 70% of the heat is blocked by that ceramic film. Here we are in a covered, nice outdoor dining room area. Just connects to nature and connects to the beautiful yard, and getting people outside more.
The fences are not obstructive fences. In other words, my neighbor can see me, I can see him. It's not like I'm building walls around my house. There's a certain openness to the neighborhood. I really like that.
Yeah.
That reverses a trend, we've seen in Hawaii, and it opens us up a little to our neighbors.
Yeah, it does. And you know what? Even the placement of the garage, that was one of the decisions on the placement of the garage, to face the garage inward instead of to the street, where you kind of block and say, don't come in.
Yeah.
Right? It makes a courtyard and a play yard, and it's more welcoming, and not that big garage door is the first thing you see when you see the house.
It is noticeable. So what about these boxes of plants? Is that more garden vegetables?
It is. It's part of our edible landscaping thing. So again, we wanted part of self-sufficiency is growing some of your own food. So we have the aquaponics with the tilapia and some vegetables out there. And we also have these raised gardens. So we can see we have mint, we have tomatoes, we have eggplant that are this big already, and they were only planted a few weeks ago. And we have chives and basil, we have banana trees, we have an avocado tree, edible landscaping. Yeah, it's really great. So the citrus trees are already having little tiny citrus, oranges and limes on them.
Celebrate the opening of the house. Well, you know what I notice also, and this is an architectural question, it's a space question, is you got a lot of stuff in this backyard, and yet you still have room.
One of the things, we did want to try to limit turf, because turf is a little more upkeep, requires a little more water, but we do have to have a place to play and, really relax in the grass. So we limited the turf just to this area, and then around the back side of the house is gravel for the more utilitarian areas.
The old days when everybody would come around and offer you their fruit, and Lord knows what they grew. Whatever they grew, they would bring it to you.
They'd bring it and they would share it, and that's how friendships and communities are built. Yeah, faux lava rock.
Faux lava rock.
Yeah.
And you put it in there as a sort of a recreational touch, is that what it is?
Recreational touch, so you get more durability out of the lawn, and also to help limit the amount of turf as well. So it makes the lawn look a lot bigger. The compressor is outside, so the noise and the heat and everything stays outside. And then there's, when we go into the bedrooms, you'll see in the bedrooms there's just small registers for the cool air inside. So that removed the duct system out of the house. And also behind me you can see our solar dryer. Our clothesline is located just outside.
Very important feature, yeah.
It is. Just outside of the laundry room, so it's very convenient between here and the laundry room.
Let's go to the second deck now.
With the way the windows are located throughout the house, with capturing the trade winds, the house is venting and breathing just like it was designed to do. And it's really comfortable up here.
Yeah, it is.
So one of the things is the floor that's hidden behind the carpet in the wood it's made out of. It's a Weyerhaeuser product. That it's corporate-wise, they have a really great sustainable program.
You must know the company called Revolution.
Yeah, and they're the ones that donated generously the PV system
Oh,
for
they
this
did.
house.
Okay,
So
they're a good
yeah,
company.
good company, very generous. Give us a really efficient system, large system to make us net zero.
That's great. I'm glad they were involved, but I
Yeah.
assumed they would be involved.
You took a shot of the whole house fan. It's just this register above my head here, and it's very quiet. If you think, a lot of whole house fans are kind of noisy. People are scared of them because it's a big fan up there sucking air through. But it's actually very whisper quiet. Okay, we have two different types of insulation that were used because it's a prototype house. We wanted to showcase the best of the green products that we could. And so in the exterior walls is Icynene, which is an expanding foam product. And so it sprays out of a machine wet, and then it expands to fill up the cavity. And then in the interior walls and the floor and in the ceiling, there's a product called EcoBat. And EcoBat is a product by Knauf, and it's a recycled glass content, low or no VOCs, no added urea formaldehyde in it, so it's a very green product as well because of the recycled content. And what we did, which is very unusual since we're just air conditioning the bedrooms, we insulated all 6 sides of the bedroom. So that way, when the air conditioner is on, if it is used, they'll have to not use it very much at all.
Maximum efficiency that way.
Maximum efficiency.
Yeah. What are we talking about as a differential for a house like this with all these features and all the science and all around us?
The house is a little bit more, especially with the systems, right? The PV system would be a big chunk of money if you bought it. The house started out that we wanted it to be an actually affordable level house. That was our goal, to make it, in the affordable range. But it kind of creeped out of what would be considered affordable. Now we're calling it achievable by most people, because the people who donated were very, very generous. Everyone was donating their best items. And so those things like the cabinets, the FSC cabinets, those are more expensive, but you wouldn't have to go to the top line to have green. You could still have green countertops and green cabinets without adding a lot more. Things like the paint and the carpeting, both very green, don't cost a whole lot more, if any, these days. So it's a good place to start, get good insulation. That's worth a little bit extra money. Things like carpet and paint, ask the questions, read the labels, very little additional money, if any. Plumbing fixtures, water sense for water conservation, very little additional cost, if any. Energy Star appliances, a little bit of extra cost, but again, you do the calculation, how much is the payback for these things?
What about resale? Is this going to mean a lot on a resale?
That's being reported, especially on the mainland, that green homes and sustainable homes and even commercial properties are selling faster, are occupied, staying on the market a lot less. In Hawaii, we don't have enough inventory to track those numbers yet.
If an appraiser came around, I guess he would give an adjustment, for a green home. Do we know what that adjustment is?
Well, right now, the appraisers in Hawaii, from what I'm told, aren't making that adjustment yet. We invite all of them to come and get educated so they can make that adjustment. Because right now, they're going on comparables, and there's not a whole lot of comparables for them to use. But, a lot of people spend a lot of time in the bathroom. It's a very important room in the house. The light fixture there actually has hidden behind it the exhaust fan. So you can hear it running. I've turned the light on. A very quiet, whisper quiet fan, but it's integrated into the light fixture, so you don't have those two pukas. The faucet is a WaterSense faucet, which means it's a water conserving feature. And again, WaterSense is one of those programs that is endorsed or supported by the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency. And the toilet here by Zurn is a very high, we call it a very high efficiency toilet, where it's only 1.0 gallons per flush. This countertop is an eco product donated by Hawaii Kitchen and Bath. It's called Eco, E-C-O, and it has recycled glass. The air conditioner can be turned on and off, and whatever temperature you want and fan setting you want can be controlled just for this room. Well, the windows, we were talking about the windows, and here you can see a really good example of the ceramic film on the windows and how dark it is and how to keep that temperature out. And so we have lower windows below, which brings air in up here, and then it can ventilate out. And so we have windows on both sides, and that's part of the cross ventilation. We wanted every single room, if possible, to have cross ventilation. So we're in one of the bedrooms, and we're looking at a vent that you normally don't see in bedrooms. The one you're looking at now, the bigger one, is actually the split air conditioner system that's ceiling mounted instead of mounted on the wall. So that's the air conditioning. And if you swing right a little bit, you'll see another little vent, And the smaller vent is actually an exhaust for each individual bedroom, has another added exhaust. So if you close the door, the whole house fan can't help evacuate the air in this room.
They demolished the old house, and then you guys came in and did this house, and then they get to live in this house, and they are very lucky people.
They are lucky people, and if you don't mind my correcting you, it was not demolished, it was deconstructed.
Pardon me.
Yeah, big difference that I'd like to get people used to the term deconstructed. And what it is, Reuse Hawaii came in, dismembered the house completely, took it back to their warehouse, and then they're reselling and reusing those, all the materials from the original house so it didn't go to the landfill. Well, this is a master suite, no pun intended, but yeah, so the master, it was very intentionally designed and set up. So it overlooks the garden, so they have access directly outside to their garden. It has cross ventilation, there's high windows and low windows, and actually windows on, or ventilation on 3 different sides. And so that connection to nature is so important for the way you feel and live every day. Master bath, and I wanted to bring you here specifically to look at this beautiful black countertop. This countertop is made, can you guess out of what it's made?
No.
Recycled paper.
No.
So we were talking about the role of the house over the next year, and so the homeowners are going to be tracking data and the performance of the house, because you know we designed it, we built it green, and we want to really see how it performs.
Tell me the name of your company.
Green Sand Inc., Architecture plus Sustainability.
And the website.
www.greensandinc.com.
Thanks, Rhonda.
Thank you, Jay.
Wow, what a house. What a tour. Thanks to Karen Nakamura and Rhona Goyke. If you want to know more about this house, contact Karen at biahawaii.org or Rhonda at greensandinc.com.
And now here's our ThinkTech calendar of events going forward. On July 28th, ThinkTech, the Hawaii Venture Capital Association, and Pacific New Media will present a luncheon program at the Plaza Club called the New Public Utilities Commission, What Happens Now?, featuring a panel of commissioners and staff from the PUC. If you want to know what's going on in the new PUC under the Abercrombie administration, check it out. Reserve your seat at hvca.org or thinktechhawaii.com.
On August 25th, ThinkTech, HVCA, and Pacific New Media will present a luncheon program called Newsmorphosis Redux, where we'll examine what's happened in the news media since the Honolulu Advertiser and the Star Bulletin were closed. Reserve your seat at hvca.org or thinktechhawaii.com. And now, here's Bill Spencer, President of the Hawaii Venture Capital Association, with this week's Spensation. We're having a HVCA ThinkTech program on the PUC. We call it the new PUC. What happens now? What's new about the PUC?
You know, the PUC has a broad range of responsibilities, and most people think of it in relation to electric rates. The PUC licenses cab companies, commercial truck drivers, and a whole host of things. As we try and change Hawaii into a renewable energy-based state, the PUC is going to take front row and really have a prominent role in facilitating that process. How are we going to make progress if the PUC can't operate effectively and efficiently and in concert with the goals of the state?
The big turning point was the Lingle Clean Energy Initiative back in 2008. That really changed everything because it was a new world, and the PUC was right in the middle of it in the Clean Energy Agreement. They have a new chair, Mina Morita, who was the chair of the Energy Committee in the House for a long time and will be a good chair. You know, they're in the paper more. Most recently, the mayor of Maui criticized them for not being transparent. Lord knows there's going to be more to come when all of these agencies have to cooperate together, including the PUC, in order to move initiatives ahead, like the Big Wind project, which is a very big project, and they're right in the middle of it. So we are going to see what's inside the PUC, who constitutes the PUC, who advises it, how the decisions are made, what the systems are, and what those people think about those systems, and find out what makes it tick, and sort of get a beat on how it's going to operate, and how thus all of the other things around it are going to operate in the next few years. It's a leading indicator, really, on all the energy issues.
At one point, there was a notion of the creation of a separate energy authority that would strictly be focused on energy, given the top priority, renewables in our state. What happened to the Hawaii Energy Authority?
Well, it was part of Neil Abercrombie's campaign last fall, and I think until the beginning of this year, he was interested in doing that. It was part of his plan for energy and the PUC to establish a separate authority, as they have in other places. In the notion that would streamline it, modernize it. I think he got some pushback on that, so that he hasn't really pushed it since. And it could come up again. Will it be easier or will it be harder if we reorganize midstream?
Well, I'm curious to know what will prevail. Is it politics or practicality?
Jury's out.
Maybe they'll tell us on July 28th
Yeah,
at
right.
the HVCA meeting.
Okay. Looking
Thanks.
forward, Bill.
All right.
Thanks, Bill.
We'll be right back to wrap up this week's edition of ThinkTech. But first, we want to thank our underwriters.
Thanks to the Scheidler Family Foundation. Jay Scheidler, through the Scheidler Family Foundation, supports a number of educational, cultural, and charitable organizations, including ThinkTech.
Hawaiian Electric Company, HECO and its affiliates Miko on Maui and Helco on the Big Island are deeply committed to the communities they serve.
Galen Ho. Galen Ho is the Senior Executive of BAE Systems, a global defense, security, and aerospace company in Hawaii.
Oceanit, another local tech company, is one of Hawaii's largest and most diversified science and engineering companies.
Okay, Duke, that wraps up this week's edition of ThinkTech. Remember, you can watch ThinkTech on OC16 several times every week. Can't get enough of it, just like Duke does. For additional times, check out OC16.tv.
You bet, Jay. For lots more ThinkTech videos and for underwriting and sponsorship opportunities on ThinkTech on OC16, visit thinktechhawaii.com. Be a sponsor and help us reach Hawaii.
I'm Jay Fidell. Thanks for joining us on ThinkTech.
I'm Duke Oishi. Aloha, everyone.